Hi, I'm Kiwi,
I'm Jared.
and we are the two gentlemen coming to you free as birds, kind of.
70% free.
Coming to you free as double vaxxed birds.
Isn't it glorious? Isn't it glorious?
How are you,
I,
Jared?
good. I went for a drive, so that made it was nice to get the car over 100 kilometers an hour. I went on the freeway.
Yep.
It's been the 5 kilometer radius, so that's been challenging. But I noticed actually I was listening to the radio as I was driving, as you do, and um, a song came on, and I knew every word to it. But I don't have this person in my music catalog. I say that with a, but how did I know every word? And I'm belting it out in the car. And it's John Farnham, You're the Voice, and I'm like, I think it was just ingrained into us when I was a kid. My parents used to listen to, 2WS, which is like the parent radio station. And I think John Farnham might have been the mainstay there. But yeah, some reason it's ingrained in my head. And I knew literally, like, when you think you know every word and then you mumble a bit. No, I knew every single word.
Well, Jared, we are all someone's son or someone's daughter. You know that.
Yeah. You're the
Actually,
voice.
no, it's daughter and then son first, isn't it? Sorry. I think you can actually get deported from Australia if you don't know the lyrics to You're the Voice.
Well, I think it's like Anthem, You're the Voice, and then and then there's like a mixture of all these other songs. But yeah, I think that's kind of where it kind of lays. Waltzing Matilda's maybe up there, but yeah.
I thought this was our anthem. Damn, I've been doing it wrong.
Yeah, I know, right? It's pretty much is. It's like the Sweet Home Alabama for people in Alabama.
Yeah, or maybe the horses. I don't know, man. Daryl Braithwaite's got a bit of a claim on that too.
I don't forget about the horses. Man. That's probably strike one against me. But yeah, so obviously, these songs were popular. But I'm going to segue that word into popularity, mate. What? Growing up, there was popular kids. There was kids that were sort of half popular. Then there was kids that struggled in the situation of social situations. As we got older, it's still prevalent in groups. There's always that sort of person that's more comfortable than the others. What makes essentially first a kid popular, and how do you maintain that, and what makes an adult popular?
As someone who doesn't have a lot of friends and has about 3 subscribers on YouTube, I'm not sure if I'm qualified enough to discuss this, Jared.
What makes you unpopular?
Well, if you can have a look at my hair right now, Jared, and the fact that I'm wearing a robe. Popularity, yeah, it's a really good question, actually. It's not something I've thought a lot about, but I think it comes, like, why would someone like anybody, for example, like, why do we even need friends?
Yeah.
Why don't we break it down from there? We like people who, I guess, have some sort of power. We're attracted to power, aren't we? And for a guy, you're generally liked if you're, if you're quote unquote normal. Okay. So if you're a strong guy, you're a big, strong guy, you're going to get people around you for some reason. If you're funny, you're going to attract people. For a female, it's not so much how funny you are. Generally, for a female, and I'm not being sexist here, this is just, I'm talking in the general culture scape of life. It's comes down to looks. That helps a lot. And what you're into. So unfortunately, it's about going with flows, and that's where all the power is, isn't it?
Yeah, and you said something, at the start, like, something about needing friends, right? I mean, I think it's part of our DNA. Like, almost you need to be in a pack of some description, like some more than others. But I think at that early stage of life, you're like, okay, where am I comfortable? Where am I comfortable? But I don't know. Popularity is a funny thing, because you can have somebody say the same joke or the same line or the same this as someone else, and they got laughs and they got attention, and then the same person says that joke to a different crowd, obviously, but it might be charisma, maybe. I don't know. Do you think it's charisma, the way the things are delivered? Like, I just think back at some of the kids who we went to school with, and they weren't. They shouldn't have been labelled, unpopular. And you look back and you think, wow, how did that happen?
Yeah, you said so many important things there. Charisma, I think you nailed it there as well. But what you brought up with, it's part of our DNA. I 100% agree with that. That's how we got here. We're really hopeless on our own. And it was only because humans knew how to communicate and unite that we could survive the wild. Then from there, we had extra companions. We got wolves coming and sitting with us around the fire because they'd eat our scraps. So we managed to tame them. So we had these hunting dogs. And from there, that was a form of technology, really. That's a man-made relationship there. And from there, we built up everything we've got around us today. So you're right. We need this. This is part of who we are. So we do naturally look for connection, don't we?
We do, and sort of going further on my point, and sort of using what you just said there, like to me, like if you are in a group of people, then if everybody had that natural, I'm just going to use the word charisma because I used it, but that charisma, that to be popular or be a leader, then you probably wouldn't get anywhere if there'd be too many, what is it? Two chefs in the kitchen, too many cooks in the kitchen, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I think people are programmed to be a certain way. I mean, to a certain degree. I mean, obviously you can, you've got your own person and you've got your own experiences and whatever, and you can alter that to an extent. But there's people that just genuinely don't even know why, but they're happy to stand in front of a crowd and be the center of attention and be popular. And it's not like when I say center of attention, it's not like somebody, trying to get that, like they need to be fed that center of they need to be fed that sort of stuff. But there's somebody who naturally just does it. They don't even realize they're doing it sometimes,
Yeah. And I think that's probably just how you're born. I don't know how neurology works, but just imagine there's different types of brains that come out of their mothers, and one is built for this, another is built for that.
Like I just find it fascinating that and I'm thinking of particular people we went to school with that just were popular no matter what they did. They didn't actually do anything different. And the one person I'm thinking of didn't conform to, I'll have to go to every party, or I'll have to do this, or I'll have to do that. It was just like this sort of like unwritten respect, that they, and they weren't, this, like you said, they weren't, they weren't this overpowering, strong male presence, or they weren't this, they just literally everyone liked them. And I think, it just fascinates me. But like I said, we're not trained in anything to do with I'm definitely not trained in anything to do with the brain. I know how to I know what happens when my head gets hit and and what happens to my brain. That's about it. But look, I just find it fascinating. But and as a parent, and I mean, you would have different challenges in regards to homeschooling and the groups that your kids socialize with. My kids are put into a place and they are told, make friends.
Yeah.
And go play with your friends, or who'd you play with today? And and as a parent, I'm just trying to find out, that I want to make sure that my girls are okay. And part of that is that they're with a group of people. Like, I don't know, is that, I'm not even going to, I believe that's right. I want to make them feel comfortable. But, what if they don't want to be in a group of people, and all that sort of stuff. It's just a sort of, ingrained thing.
No one wants to hear that their kids have no friends.
Oh, that would be heartbreaking, mate.
It would be. Like, imagine you're going to parent-teacher night and your teacher saying, "Yeah, no one likes little Timmy or whatever." That would kill you, and you'd wonder why. And I don't think either of us are qualified to have this discussion. So it's really good that we can just put it out there. Hopefully, the audience can chip in and send us some messages on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or whatever. But look, I think you've used school as the example for popularity. I mean, there's so many different other places where you can,
of course,
have groups. For example, imagine being a tennis player. Now, again, I'm not qualified to discuss this at all, but you look at who the most popular tennis player is, and it's not necessarily the best at any time, at any given time. Growing up, for us, it was Andre Agassi was really popular, whereas Pete Sampras was the best.
Yeah.
Now, why is that? And like you said, you used the word charisma.
Yeah.
So what is it that we want as the audience or as the group? What do we want from this popular person? So we don't want excellence. We just purely want what, an earring and a bandana. Like what? I don't understand it.
An earring and a bandana. Yeah, possibly. I mean, look, I do this. I'm just going to repeat what you said. I mean, I love watching NBA basketball, and LeBron James is the best. There's been 19 years, prime of his, stayed in prime shape. That's phenomenal, right? Yeah. In any sport. The amount of kilometers miles he's put on those legs, and he's still going very strong. And he's only just starting to be kind of, in my opinion, be taken over by some players in the league. Like, literally just. Like, it's like he's not number one, he's number 2 or 3 now.
Yeah, yeah.
But people really dislike him.
Yeah, okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, like, it's 50-50. Like, I mean, I really enjoy watching him play. I look at it like going, this is a generational player. Like, when people are talking about somebody in the same breath as Michael Jordan, going, who's the greatest of all time? You think, well, I've been able to watch his career. Like, for me, that's and you can do that with any sport. You look at like Federer and Novak. Like these guys, we've been very lucky. We had this golden era of swimming. Where we watched Ian Thorpe and Hackett and all these guys, Kieran Perkins before them. All these guys and women come through that were just phenomenal, and people just take that stuff for granted. And its popularity, like, I think not only have you got to be the best, you've got to somehow, like, make everybody like you. Like, and it's about delivery. Like, LeBron James gets out there and sort of says, I want to be the best. I don't care what I do or how I do it. Like, I want to be the best. That just rubs people up the wrong way. Like, if he come out and said, I want to be the best, but I'm going to go and whatever, like I said, wear a bandana and earrings, like that might get him over a little bit more, so it's just but I don't think like I said, it's charisma and how you deliver things. I mean, he's not looking at that, so and that's what people kind of like react to.
And I don't think you can train that so much, Jarad. I think another basketballer could have come along, done the exact same things, probably even said worse things if they wanted to, and people would have gone, that was really cool for some reason. There's a particular tennis player, he's retired now. I don't want to mention his name just simply in case I get this whole analysis wrong, but he was really, really popular in the early 2000s, okay? And he was considered, quote unquote, a bad boy.
Yeah.
And he was number one in the world at one point, but when he wasn't, I remember there was a headline in Australia, and Leighton Hewitt was number one at the time, and it said the number one player in the world versus the best player in the world. Yeah, and this was in Australia, so it's quite disrespectful to the Australian player, Leighton Hewitt. Yeah. And this guy, he would say whatever he wanted, and people just cheered for him.
Yeah.
So why did he get away with it? If it was anyone else,
I know. It's your delivery, mate. It's 100% your delivery. Like, you look at comedians, again, I go back to the joke. You can say the same joke, to an audience that doesn't know you're repeating the joke, and you can literally, like, be booed off stage, and the other guy gets a round of applause. Like
Yeah.
it's and you would know, you've done a little bit of comedy, and it's delivery, mate.
It is.
It's how you put it over.
Look, going back to school, the thing with school is it's an institution. So when you're in any institution, there's different rules to that, and the rules of nature. For example, if we were going purely by the rules of nature, the most popular in terms of natural gifts would be the one that's, like I said, the strongest for a male, the best looking for a female, the most academic, the smartest one that's going to come up with that invention to advance our civilization. Those sorts of people would be the most popular. They're the ones that you'd want to hang around the most. In an institutional setting, you play by the rules of the institution. So with, for example, prison being that institution, the most popular person might be the one that got away with the most intelligent crime, for example, someone who's pulled off a bank heist or robbed, or perhaps worked their way up in the ranks of the mafia. That person might get all the respect, not because people are afraid of them, but because they've done something great in the eyes of this particular institution. Now at school is kind of a place where you are shackled as well. So perhaps the popular ones are the ones who can, I suppose, harness political power at school. And political power is just getting other kids to like you. And that could be historical. You could have been popular because in kindergarten, you wore a particular pair of shoes or you had a particular hat. Something as ridiculous as that. And I remember when I showed up with a pair of Reebok pumps in year 5, everyone just wanted to be around me. That was a sign of power.
Yeah.
Right? And it was ridiculous. Looking back, it's just so silly.
No, you're no. I would love a pair of Reebok pumps right now. But
so would I actually. They were pretty cool. But hey, that was a sign of power.
Yeah.
Because if you can get your hands on a pair of shoes like that, it means you must have money. If you have money, you have power. So people are attracted to that sort of thing. Now, I can't explain for other things like we've talked about. I really don't know. But I think being able to, in an institution like school, being able to get someone on side can be very easy, and it can just be a little historical thing. Like I said, it could happen when you're 5 years old. And then from there, it's in everyone's mind that you're cool. Then you get to high school and you've still got that little following. So people see that. It's called social proof. People see that and go, oh, well, he must be a cool guy then if all these people like him. And then they just accept you as a cool guy.
Yeah.
And you've done nothing but wear a hat, That's it.
The foundation of your coolness.
Yeah, that's right. And that's the thing. That's why people get things like social anxiety and imposter syndrome, because they feel like, I actually didn't do anything to deserve all this power, and I don't know what to do with it now. And then you just kind of just be quiet and kind of conform and just don't say the wrong thing.
Yeah. Very interesting. I don't think we're going to come to an answer with this one. I don't even know if it was a question. What makes popularity? But I mean, I think the discussion can be had for many, many more hours. I don't know if that to me is one of those things that I like I said, we're not qualified, and these are just opinions of two dudes like sitting here having a chat. So, we'll probably go around in circles and probably say the wrong things or the right thing. Who knows? But yeah, it's just I really really enjoy this subject.
All right, well, let's talk about something that you brought up. You said a group of friends.
Yeah.
And you'd like your children to have a group of friends. I don't have a friend group. I've got, a smattering of friends here and there. I've got all these little dots, pretty much individual friends. I doubt, with us old school friends, we never get together as a group. So I won't even call that as a group.
No.
Perhaps historically we're a group, but, today I haven't hung out with a group for a long, long time. Is it important to you to have a group of friends, Jarad?
I think this goes back a long way for me. Obviously we talked about this in one of the first episodes about being part of a group and the dynamics and all that sort of stuff. And I don't know if it's important. We talked about how it feels to be around that group and then to leave, and then how that sort of goes from that feeling of, invincibility and to an extent, and then you're on your own. It's kind of that sort of shock to the system. So I think for me, like being in a group and playing your role, your natural role. I mean, like we've said in this podcast, in today's episode, it's people have an ability to be the leader. Some people have the ability to be the funny person. Some people have the ability to be, to bring the conversation back or whatever that may be. And I just enjoy it. Like I don't need it. I just enjoy. I'm sitting here at a table of 8 chairs, and I'm at my happiest when these 8 chairs are full.
Yep.
And I'm not the leader in that group, but I'm not a leader in a group situation, but like I'm happy to be the facilitator, like I kind of like, I organize, at the moment, I organize my basketball team, like I'm the one that does all that. So I facilitate 9 or 10 guys to get together to play basketball in a competition, but it's, it's a social event. We're 40, like, we're not going to go be playing, end up playing professionally or anything like that. We have nights here or nights somewhere that I facilitate, and I'm like, okay, let's all get together and go to the pub pre-COVID, or come to my place, have a barbecue, whatever. So I wouldn't say I need it, but I really enjoy it.
Yeah. And I think that the reason why you are the facilitator is because everyone likes you. Now that brings me to my next question. As an adult, if you're going to make a friend, you get to choose now. Okay. At school, you're kind of thrown into a situation. It's like, take your pick. It's like, I'm in a school of 30 people. A class of 30 people, and none of them are like me, but I've just got to choose someone to sit next to.
Grab on.
And just, go along to get along. Now that you're an adult, you can do whatever you want. You can be friends with whomever you choose.
Yeah.
What makes you like a person now as an adult?
It's not something that I've ever actively thought about. It's a feeling, mate. It's a lot of things, but the initial. Okay, so if you meet a new person or a new couple, so you say that your kids start playing with some other kids, and then you meet those parents as a couple, right? So me and my wife meet another couple. You get the gist straight away, or the feeling straight away. They're like, oh wow, these people are actually, I can see ourselves socializing with that. But like, it doesn't mean that person is that the father or the mother or they're a particular style of person. They're just, you just get that feeling, that vibe, I guess. There's a lot of things that happen after that as a friendship sort of blossoms, I guess, lack of better words. But you've got to have mutual sort of like want to do it. You can't be all one-sided and somebody, come on, let's do this. But yeah, like initially it's just the vibe, and I can't really put my finger on it, mate. I really can't. It's kind of using your life experience and using the knowledge that you gained to go, okay, I want to see this person again, or they were pretty fun to hang out with, or whatever. And on the flip side, you actually kind of know when it's like, oh, this is just a one-off. That those sort of things, like, oh man, I had a really good time, but that was just once. Like, or if we run into them again, and we'll have a good time. But you just sort of, I don't know. It's I just call it vibe, really.
Yep.
And I don't know if I answered your question there. I just kind of rattled about vibe, didn't I?
No, the vibe said it all. I actually agree with you 100%. It does come down to the vibe. You can feel people. Like you said, 2 people can say the same thing and only one of them gets a reaction. Yeah. And it really comes down to the vibe of the person. And when you say vibe, I mean, vibe is short for vibrate. Okay.
Yeah.
And we're all, sorry to get a bit hippie here, but we all vibrate at a different frequency, right? Apparently some studies show that a heart can feel another heart, within a certain distance. So you get a feel for people. You really do. And I agree with you 100% there. Talking about your wife, when you guys came over here that one time with your kids, Erica just straight away vibed with your wife.
Yeah.
Now, she said, it's so nice to meet real people who are, I can't remember the word she used, but it was something along the lines of someone who knows who they are. And that was what she got from your wife. And, knowing her from one meeting, but I got the same kind of vibe. I felt like there was nothing fake.
No.
That she's, you guys didn't come over and try to impress us in any way and talk about your trip to Paris and, that.
We're saving that for our second visit. No.
Yeah. But, it was just real people coming over, having a real chat. And that's that's what I look for. And I feel that when you do that, you vibrate in a certain way. You have a certain vibe about you. And when you meet people who try to bung something on and, I don't know, if they try to impress you in some way, you can sense it. You can sense that snake oil salesman, that guy that's got to wear the suit to impress people. And that's all they've got behind them.
Yeah.
And you can see that they're trying to hide something. You can sense that.
Yeah.
And I've always been able to do that. So for me, it's the same as you. I get a vibe about people and I love meeting real people.
And I think that's why you get a little bit more picky as you get older, because you have more experiences of the salesman, the snake oil. I can't say it, but the one, like the people that, are just a little bit, for lack of better words, fake, and not, and not saying that those people aren't right, because there'd be a friendship circle that they would have. You can't be friends with everyone, and the world, and I've probably missed out on a lot of friends by, you might be in a particular mood one day and you judge something too harshly, or someone doesn't do something that you expect them to do, and they're just having a bad day and whatever. It could be something so similar to he wore a hat, he wore a good hat, it made him popular.
Yep.
This person might have just, drop something in your house or in front of you, didn't pick up the rubbish, or didn't realize they, whatever, right?
That's right.
And then straight away, your life experiences go, okay, you start evaluating that. And like I said, I hope I haven't missed out on any, but I think it's just natural you do, because there's only so many hours in the day, and I think you can't, you can't be friends with everyone, which is unfortunate. I wish. I like I said, I enjoy social gatherings and things like that. So, but there's got to be a limit somewhere. And I think you naturally create that limit.
Yeah. And it's created by time. Like you said, there's 24 hours in a day.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. We're going to, and it's all set around, you're awake and you sleep, and you're awake and you sleep, and you just continue the cycle. And then you run on the calendar, and then it's like, oh, well, I can't do anything on a school night, and I can't do anything on a, all this sort of stuff that goes through your mind. And I think we've voiced it, and I've voiced it definitely personally, but I think we've voiced it on this is, those little excuses, like, I think I'm going to try and not make those excuses as much since we are starting to get a bit of freedom back, because you kind of realize how many times I may have said no, or not even given something a chance because of an excuse of, oh, you know what, I'm a little tired tonight, or, you never know what you're going to miss out on.
Yeah, I know. But then, of course, there's this, if you are tired, what about the self-care that you might be missing out on? It's such a fine balance.
Yeah, and you get people, they hear the saying, what is it, burning the candle at both ends, like people are just trying to, trying to cram as much as they can into the day, and that sometimes catches up with you, or, causes issues that, later down the track.
Yeah. Just, I can see that we're running out of time, Jarad. I thought maybe we can take this back to the original topic of popularity.
Yeah.
And just for anyone listening to this, if they are worried about their kids and, whether they've got friends or how other people perceive them, I just want to share my personal experience with my kids. And what I've seen that really impresses me about them is their integrity. They are just themselves. They are into the things that they're into. And I'm quite grateful that my eldest son doesn't go to school because of his interest in garbage trucks. I can imagine him getting really bullied for that sort of thing. And he's a really sweet kid. I don't want him to have to fight back against anybody just to defend his personal interest in something that he's been into since he was a little kid. I can imagine plenty of people who are into, again, quote unquote, dorky things would want to hide that. Kids telling their mother how much they love them, for example, kissing them goodbye, all those sorts of things that are, deemed no longer cool when you're at a certain age. I'm really grateful that my kids have integrity. That's the thing. They adjust themselves. And I've done verbal sparring with my eldest because the thing that he's worried about as he gets older is being pressured. So I pressure him into something and he learns to say no. My youngest, he doesn't care at all. He's completely himself. He wouldn't let anyone pressure him into anything. And so that's strength too. Someone that doesn't have a lot of friends, but is happy with who they are.
Totally. And that shines through at unfortunately through school. You do hide those little things that, you do that may be perceived as, dorky, as you said. But they come back and your true self does, hopefully the kids find it earlier, than sooner than later, because, there are things that make your soul sing, like if you like it, then do it, like I always say I go to a nerd show, I would call it a nerd show, me and a mate. And it's our little, like Louise, my wife teases me, to a certain degree, not like, badgers me, but just gives me, oh, you're off to the nerd show, and it's just going there and just looking at collectibles and walking around and in your element, and that's just something that I like to do, but it's not cool. It's certainly not cool, but I'm 40 now and I'm like, well, I enjoy it. So it is cool, but you got to be able to say that, and once you're comfortable in saying that, then that's when, the popularity of like, oh, well, he goes and looks at like antiques and stuff and it's for old people and, whatever, or he collects these little, things or whatever, like, and once you have integrity and can just go, well, that's what I do, then you don't actually care about the little stuff of like, am I popular or not,
But you would be popular amongst the antique crowd, wouldn't you?
Oh, extremely.
But exactly, right? So it's about finding that niche. And I don't think any surfers care about you looking at antiques, right? So you're not going to be popular amongst surfers, but who cares? You're not out to impress them.
No, that's right.
And you're not out to impress the antique crowd either. But I guess it just makes us feel a little more validated, I suppose, if we do have a group that's kind of like us, because we feel like, oh, I'm actually normal. I'm not weird.
And you know what I've learned? Is there's always a group for something,
That's right.
I love history, which led to antiques, which then like I just have this, if walls could talk. So that led to, me doing paranormal investigating and all this sort of stuff. And people give me so much, what for it, but it's, I enjoy it and I'm not going to stop doing it because somebody tells me that, whatever, they don't believe in it or whatever. I don't care. I'm not there to make you believe. I'm there because I love doing it. And, that's it. Simple. And there's always a group. There's always a group of people that will, you can be a part of. So, don't sweat those things, if you are worried about that sort of stuff.
Exactly. Look, all anybody really wants from anybody else is to have true connection and for people to be their true selves. And there's nothing cooler than that. Nothing will ever change your vibration more than you connecting with your true self. And the way to do that is with integrity. Yeah. So I guess I'll close with that. Jarad, is there anything you'd like to say?
No, we've said it all. And you closed perfectly.
All right. Well, let's hope this podcast gets a little bit more popular. Please support us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I don't know, one of those Skyriders, maybe.
Maybe an antique group can get onto it, or maybe someone can share it within the
Because not even my parents are listening to this.
Yeah, no, I don't think my wife does either.
Oh well, but we've got integrity, Jarad. That's the main thing.
I know, and my wife doesn't listen to it by choice, but I play it in the background, so she has to listen to it.
Well, we've said nice things about her in this one, so she better listen.
I know.
Thanks, Jarad.
Thank you, mate.